If you want to stop your phone from being tracked, block EMF and shield from EMP, I have something really awesome for you today. Today we're taking a look at this GoDark Faraday dry bag. It's a 10-liter one. It's really big, and I'm going to show you why I picked this one up. Let's get into it. Alright folks, welcome back. So I have done in the past a couple of small reviews on similar type bags, but I haven't ever had anything from GoDark, and I've been reading up on them, and the reputation online seems to be an extremely good kit. Now, one of the things that when I was speaking with them, I mentioned that I was looking for something that would be able to protect several radios or one of my ham HF rigs. I have 2 rigs out here, and one I don't use that often. And I'd like to keep it in some kind of protected bag should there be any kind of EMP type attack, any kind of high altitude nuclear detonation. And as crazy as that sounds, we're living in those times these days, folks. So I decided that I would order this one and let you take a look at it. This is their big 10-liter bag. This is a really large bag. Now, the cool part about these bags in general, all right, is they allow you to block out EMF signals and all sorts of RF from 200 megahertz to 40 gigahertz. So that will include 4G, 5G, GPS, cell, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth. They're made of 2 layers of the GoDark RF shielding fabric, and they offer EMP protection, and they pass the MIL STD 188125-2 standardized test for high altitude EMP shielding. So for those of us worried about somebody deciding to launch a nuke somewhere over the middle of the United States and knock out all of our electronics, this is a way to protect your electronics. And it is big enough for even a smaller power station. One of those little 200 or 300 watters could probably fit in here easily. It is a very large bag. I'm going to give you a look at the top here. You have a nice clear top here, and that will be what you'll fold over, and this kind of folds over like a wet dry bag, and it also kind of has similar properties to that too. This is waterproof, so we'll get into all that in a sec. You can see the shielding material inside here, and underneath here is more shielding material, but it is felt protected, so it's not going to scratch up your stuff. You know, the initial top piece here is just going to roll that over, and you'll put your gear down at the bottom of the bag. So, very nice looking bag, very, very nicely made. They're taking great care to ensure that signals are blocked and they do not become compromised in any way. Now, the cool part about these, again, we were talking about the waterproofing. It's an IPX7 waterproof rating. All right, so not only do they provide EMP protection, but waterproofing as well. So your devices will remain safe and secure, even in the most harsh of environments. Roll top closure keeps everything dry in the sack from water, dust, other elements. That's another cool thing for having it out here. Even though it looks like I'm super neat and clean freak out here, and I am, it still gets dusty. So it'll keep the radio free of getting any kind of dust on it or any kind of crud on it. So they're made with a very durable 600D poly outer shell with the PU face coat and a TPU backing, so it's water and puncture resistant. It does have that thin felt padding like we showed you inside, and underneath that is the blocking material. There are 2 layers inside of this, the proprietary GoDark RF shielding fabric. It's been independently tested by Keystone Compliance to make an average of 103 dB of attenuation between 200 megahertz and 40 gigahertz. So pretty much this is a dead zone inside of here, and we are going to test that with a cell phone. We're going to try it out and see if you'll actually have any issues with that. Like we said, this does pass the military high altitude EMP shielding tests for the military, so that you definitely know you're going to be set. Now, why did I get it? Well, I'm going to show you, okay? Over here, I have a small antenna tuner, and of course, my HF radio, basically UHF, VHF, all mode, the FT818, all right? This radio is really handy because it does not only HF, but 2 meters and 440 and 6 meters. Very handy all-around rig, awesome for SHTF, okay? If you get in a situation where you need to make communications, yeah, it's only 6 watts, but you have AM, FM, sideband, all of that, 2 meters, 440, 6 meters, all the way through all the HF bands. So this is something that I want to protect, of course. And I have the microphone over here. And I've been thinking about it, because I have my Zygo G90 sitting out over there on my ham radio table. And I'm looking at this going, you know what? I would lose both these radios if there was an EMP attack of some kind. So what I want to do is put this inside of here and pack it in. Now what I'm going to do, just for example, is we're going to put this inside here and see how well it fits. I think when I told the gentleman when I was ordering this that I was looking to protect my ham radios, he thought I meant like, a huge Yaesu or something. But obviously that's going to fit in there just fine. Then you're going to put your tuner, and lastly, the microphone. Okay, you see it just all fits right in there. Now, we're going to put it up on its side like this, and I hope you can see that in camera. I'm sure you can. Put it like this. I'm going to fold this over here. Okay, you want to make sure these little end pieces are out on either side, and you're just going to fold that over a couple of times and kind of scoop it up in the middle like that. And there you go. I have a bunch of ham radio gear now that is fully EMP shielded and protected should something happen. And I can stick this over by the side there, by where my ham radio stuff is, even on the floor, in case there's a flood in here, which, you know, it gets wet in here sometimes. You'll get a little bit of water run in from the side door. It's nice to have the peace of mind to know that if this thing gets wet, the interior is not going to get wet. So you see why I want to do this, all right? And it could protect a whole lot more than that, too. I'll give you an example. I won't go into the details of who makes them because this is for them, not them. But I have these little guys here. These are little 2-meter 440 rigs inside another bag. So I always have an extra rig packed up. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, well, that's great, dude. You do this for a living. You get all this free gear. I only have one radio. Well, yeah, there's nothing wrong with sticking your radio in one of these at night. You know, if you unhook it and put it away, you can stick it in one of these at night. Maybe even save up for an extra backup rig. Radios now are so inexpensive, especially little 2-meter 440 25-watt deals from China, that you could easily get one for 60, 70, 80 bucks. Really handy to have a backup radio. So what we're going to do with this is I'm going to put my cell phone in here, and I'm going to call my cell phone, and I'll show you that my cell phone does ring before we do that. And I'm going to call my cell phone, and we're going to see if this can keep out the RF from just my cell phone. All right, so I got my cell phone sitting right there, and we are going to call it to show you that it does in fact ring. I'm going to try to do this without showing everybody my cell phone number, so I'm just going to kind of turn it sideways here. All right, and it's dialing now. Dialing out. And there you go. All right, so you can see it does ring, okay? So what I'm going to do is put this inside here, and we're going to see if it rings once it's inside. Now we're going to go straight to it. I'm not going to turn off the camera or anything. Okay, putting it right in here, and I'm going to seal up the bag. I'm going to flip it over like that so you can see me seal up the bag and how I do it. I'm going to do it a couple more times extra here. If I can get it to close that way, I think I can. Yep, there we go. That's good. So one thing about this bag is it's definitely nice and thick. It's definitely well made. All right, we're going to redial my phone number. I'm going to try again with my landline. And yes, folks, it's important to have a landline. Here, let's see if you can hear it. Okay. Took a while to get there, but it's ringing.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging
See?
system.
It won't go through anymore. That's awesome. So that is an excellent way to keep your privacy intact as well as protect yourself from EMP or whatever. Definitely a great way to keep your privacy intact. You know, we talk about EMP a lot with these types of devices, and they make all sorts of different types of bags. This is just a big 10-liter one. They make bunches of different types of bags, and I will give you a link to check out their site when we get to the end of the video. But, you know, we talk a lot about that, EMP and protection from that, but we don't talk a lot about privacy. One of the best ways when it comes to being a prepper to not get yourself in any kind of problems is to protect your privacy. I mean, you could be prepped to the walls and be all set for anything and find out that $300,000 was taken out of your bank account by a hacker who got into your cell phone or by somebody who, you know, compromised a computer or whatever. This will protect against Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, anything that you keep on your phone. And we don't talk about privacy as well when it comes to you may be going somewhere like a gun show and you don't necessarily want everybody to know about it. You know, we're not talking about anything illegal. We're talking about just keeping your privacy intact from political type things like guns and things like that. And you may not want everybody to know. So you can toss your cell phone in a bag like that, make your trip, still have the security of having your cell phone if you need it for an emergency, but nobody has to know. And there are a lot of cell phones that even when they're turned off, aren't really off and are beaconing your location the whole time. So it's definitely a cool little thing. I like the product. The size on it, fully open, is 17.3 inches by 12 inches. You do have multiple D-ring attachments on the back if you want to attach that to something. Okay, nice oval bottom there, so it does stand up straight when you put it up top like that. Do like that. And I'm probably going to be using this for the radios that are inside my other bags. I'm probably going to be putting it all together with that radio, so all 3 radios are protected. Now, when I say other radios, I'll show you what I'm talking about here. I'm trying to pull this radio out here. Here's some of its gear. Programming cable, and of course, the radio itself. You remember me reviewing this little guy here, this little Bauji little radio here. Neat little 2 meter 440, not AM FM, 2 meter 440 radio. Definitely a great way to keep yourself protected from EMP by having some extra radios. And they don't need to be super expensive radios. You know, everybody thinks you got to go out and spend, $1,000 on radios. You don't. You can get some inexpensive radios. They're better than nothing when, you have an SHTF situation. So that is my GoDark Faraday bag. This is the 10-liter version. These run about $99, okay? But they do have smaller ones. They have ones that will just fit your cell phone. All different sizes. I'm going to link directly to this, but you can bounce around all over the site and see what's on there. I think you will appreciate it. One thing I did want to mention was that they have a lot of information in the pamphlet itself, okay? So this can be submerged up into water for 30 minutes, up to 1 meter of water, okay? All this stuff, all this information on how to do it correctly for a dry bag, all this information on the EMP tests they've done on these. So definitely a cool little thing. I think something to keep your gear protected is definitely in order these days, especially with all the uncertainty we're facing in today's world and the possibility of a nuclear war. Anyway, folks, I thank you guys for watching. Link will be down below. Check them out. Really nice company. They were nice enough to send this to me for me to test out when I was talking to them about it. Again, they sent me a huge bag. What I'm going to do with 3 radios will fit in here just fine. But you can get yourself any size you want. They have a bunch of different options there. Don't forget to check out all our other links down below, our Amazon affiliate store. If you guys click that link and shop as you normally would on Amazon, doesn't cost you anything, helps us out. We really do appreciate when you do that. Our freeze-dried wholesalers link. I got some neat stuff coming up from freeze-dried wholesalers pretty soon. There's some new products coming up, and we're going to try them out on the channel. And my link will save you 15% on anything there. Now, he did have to raise his prices recently. It's just a matter of, the cost of everything is going up. So that link will save you 15% and help a little bit with that price raise there. Below that are My Patriot's Plan link. That's preparewithiridium.com. Preparewithiridium.com. Loads of good deals on there, so check them out. Lots of food deals and everything else, survival gear. And our Thrive Life freeze-dried food store. I thank you guys for hanging out with me today and watching. Stay safe and stay prepared.